Hello guys, Happy New Year and welcome to the first update of 2026. Today we're going to be talking about progress with Wardner and where we've got to. So back in April last year I released a demo of level 1 and that was quite well received. Since then I'd worked on level 2. I'd got that kind of nearly completed. There was a few enemies missing and things like that, but generally the level was almost done. And then one thing sort of piled on another, so the project kind of stalled for a while there. And in the interim, since that sort of work was done, the Scorpion Engine's experimental releases, which is what I use to make these games on, had gone through some significant updates. And unfortunately there was some little nuances that had changed and it had messed the code up, specifically for things like ladders. So level 1 and level 2 currently don't work anymore because the ladders are broken. So really, to be honest, what I'd coded and what I'd sort of put together back early last year when I first got into doing this sort of development stuff, you know, it's very messy. It's very sort of, you know, does this work, you know, slapping things together and trying to, you know, hook something together to get it to work. So really I need to go back and, I wouldn't say completely redo, but, you know, rework levels 1 and 2 with the sort of workflow I've built up as I've been building level 3 over the last month or so, couple of months. I did start level 3 back in August, but I was working on the background parallax and that kind of stalled. So it's just been a busy year last year, and lots of things cropped up and sort of scuppered me from making as much progress as I wanted to. I think what happened was I'd got sort of inspired to have a look at Mortal Kombat 2, and I spent ages like cobbling together a sort of early concept for Mortal Kombat 2. This is literally just a sort of rolling a track mode that then we get into the a working character select screen. And we get into a stage and you've got like Sub-Zero's got a couple of moves we can do here. We can do the uppercut, get the blood spurts and everything like that. And then there's the freeze maneuver. If you freeze the opponent there, if you try and freeze him again, you'll freeze yourself like it works in the arcade. And the mod music here took some time. I'm still not completely happy with it. I was having trouble getting the right sample for the lead sound. I think everything else sounds pretty decent in it, but the lead sound is a little bit off and it's not quite hitting the feeling I want. I think that's what sort of sidetracked me from level 3 of Wardner. And then I started getting back into development sort of November last year, and then the whole Sonic the Hedgehog thing reared its head and I got sidetracked doing the Bleeding Sonic demo. But anyway, we were almost finished level 3 of Wardner by the time sort of I got inspired to try and do something Sonic related. And here we are. So finally level 3 is up to a standard I'm kinda happy with. This is running on the stock A1200, no fast RAM at the moment, and there's some issues that I'm not 100% happy about, but it's to do with performance. So at the moment we've got a foreground layer, obviously, that Dover runs behind, so he runs behind the trees and things like that. And of course, because Scorpion is locked to single playfield mode, we don't have many options for parallaxing. All we've really got access to is these sprites, the hardware sprites, and because the AGA can use 64 pixel wide hardware sprites, we're able to use 4 color sprites and fill the background layer or create a sort of fake background layer for the parallax. So you can see the trees in the background are, you know, hardware sprites there. One of the problems with that is the sprites are basically using the copper to be displayed. So the copper's constantly updating the position of the sprite, and this this causes DMA issues. Obviously, and because we're using, practically all the hardware sprites, that leaves us nothing in the bag to sort of put enemies into. So we do get some big enemies later down the line, but we'll come to those when we get a bit further into the level. So first enemy we get to is the sort of floating skeleton, and he's simply on a pattern where he does that little loop, then turns around and comes back. And another thing about this enemy is he's got a shield which deflects your shot, so when you try shooting him, you can't damage him. The only way to damage him is from behind, like this, and that's using the melee system that's in Scorpion. So I'm able to draw individual hitboxes on the enemy so that I can achieve this sort of setup. Also, he doesn't perform his loop until he gets a certain X position away from the player, so you can sort of chase him down and shoot shots like that at him, and that's quite an easy way to kill him. So let's move on. After the skeletons, we have some enemies that sort of reappear from level 1, sort of warlock looking characters. Now that's their usual function, that's what they do in level 1, they just keep firing at you. But in level 3 they've got a little bit of code for jumping when you attempt to shoot at them. You've got 3 different types of shots. So if I get really close, this is the close shot, then that's the near shot, I think it's 4 actually. Then there's one that comes down slightly steeper angle, I think. Yeah, that's that angle, and then there's a far range angle. So that's the warlock characters updated for level 3. Let's move on now then to the sort of bonus enemy that sort of drops bonuses for you. There's only a couple of these in the level. We'll quickly have a look at those. The first one here is just before this first lava pit, and they simply just come on the screen and sort of hover. But the trick with the hovering is that if you shoot the enemy, this specific enemy, too high in his hover code or his hover pattern, bonus that he will drop will be too high for you to jump and collect. So that's part of the risk reward thing for this enemy type. You've got to hit him low down. So when you hit him low down, he drops the rock here on this part of the level. Now this rock will enable us to do a little trick for level 3. First thing we need to do is need to jump over this lava pit and get onto the little island in the middle and collect that gold quickly. And here he comes. So I don't know what you want to call this. It's the mad chicken bird thing. Condor, I don't know what it is. That actor basically is like a level skip. So if you jump onto him, he will literally take you to the end of the level. So I'll just illustrate that. And yeah, as you've been picked up by the enemy, you can drop off of him if you want. If you just want to skip a part of the level, like this next part of the level can be quite tricky, and I'll show you that soon. But yeah, that's that. We'll quickly nip back to the lava pit. And as you can see in this lava pit, we just got some moving platforms that go up and down here, and they spawn based on the camera X position, which gives them their sort of movement pattern. They all set off at different times, and they've got a different movement pattern there. And you've got to jump off them quite sharpish, because if you go too deep into the lava pit, you will die. So you've literally got to jump off them the minute they start moving, otherwise you'll die. And also here, the fire pit is a palette cycle. I did have a few colours left over when mapping the arcade graphics to a 64 colour palette on the Amiga, and I did leave some colours over just in case I needed them for anything. So I've managed to squeeze the fire animations into a palette cycle, because I did try originally to do block animations, but it was causing DMA issues on the stock Amiga. It was jittering and stuff, so I managed to squeeze them into a palette cycle, which has sped the level up tremendously on these sections. But anyway, let's move forward now to one of the most difficult and strenuous parts of the game for gameplay and performance issues on the Amiga. So in this next section after the fire pit, we get the what I'd call rock men, which kind of start off as a little rock on the floor, which is kind of obscured by the foreground grass on this level. When you get close enough to them, they will spawn and sort of grow out of their little pebble, and they will just literally rush you until they hit a wall, and they'll bounce and go in the opposite direction. These enemies take quite a few hits to kill, but that's all there is to them really. They just rush you. Well, I say rush you, they're quite slow, but you'll see in the next part of the level, the first one's easy to kill, and then it starts to get more difficult. There's 4 of them, but in the middle of this section, you get a nasty surprise, which are these falling fireballs. Now this kind of because this is a Toaplan game, this kind of speaks to Batsagun, Bullet Hell roots, where on the arcade version you do get a significant amount of fireballs. I didn't count them, but I'd say possibly around 12, maybe more, but on the Amiga it was very difficult to get these in, especially on the stock machine because of the DMA issues. So what I've had to do here is limit the fireballs to 6, and 3 of the fireballs are blinking on every even frame, and the other 3 are blinking on every odd frame, so it's only ever displaying 3 fireballs per frame. And of course, when you've got these rock men to deal with at the same time, the performance drops somewhat on the stock Amiga 1200, which is something I tried and tried. I mean, I'm going to have to, it might be the case that I might have to start just reducing the size of things slightly to improve blitter performance, to get a little bit more FPS out of this. But if you play it on an Amiga 1200 with fast RAM, this is what it looks like. So you've got no blinking and it runs pretty smoothly. There's not much slowdown here, as you can see. The fireballs come streaming down quite well, and you might have the odd little bit of slowdown when a rockman appears, but it's not significant enough to feel sluggish. You know, it still feels kind of nippy, which is what I want to get to with the stock 1200 version. But that will take, I think, some more optimizations. I think we're going to have to try and start squeezing the sprites slightly smaller to fit into multiples of 16. So if we're a few pixels over the next lowest multiple, we need to squeeze it slightly into that lower multiple to improve the blitter performance there. So we'll move on now, and here's the second B, or whatever you want to call it. And this one, if you don't do the level skip, will give you access to some items that are on top of this sort of ruin, this broken structure here. In the arcade version, you've got gold, and you've also got a weapon power-up, which gives you an extra shot. So that's not in the game yet because I haven't programmed the upgrade system at all yet. We still need to tackle those. There's a shop section in the game in between levels where you buy upgrades and things, but that all needs to be sort of almost seen as another level that needs to be designed really. And I think I may be tackling that next, fill in some of the missing gameplay elements that would improve the gameplay overall and get it much closer to the arcade. So yeah, if you kill him, he drops a pair of boots. You picked up the boots, and that gives you a special jump, a one-time only jump. It's kind of in some ways, these mechanics are sort of underused in this game. I feel like these one-use mechanics could have been elaborated on throughout the game, but it wasn't to be. But maybe a Wardner 2 could do it. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, yeah, you get on top of here, and then you can see we've got another warlock on the end there, and then we've got these 2 bats which are from level 2. Now these bats are exactly the same, you get close to them, certain exposition close to the bats, and then they will do the little circle maneuver, and they're quite easy to dispatch. And we'll get rid of the warlock there. Now we're on to the second fire pit. Now this one is another problem because of the DMA issues, of course, with the block animation, but then I changed that obviously to a pallet cycle. And then as we jump over these platforms, we reach a rather nasty obstacle, these 2 flames that fly out of the lava pit. And it's just a timing based pattern where you need to judge the pattern and jump at the right time, so you get over those. Now, as you can see on the stock Amiga, we've had to do the similar effect that we did with the fireballs, and that's to blink them alternately. So they're only ever 1 flame visible per frame, which keeps performance down. Again, if I look into the width of these, I might be able to improve the performance if I can just crush them into a slightly skinnier sprite to help with the blitter performance. And this might be a little bit more snappier. And it might even be the case that I won't have to use the blinking. We'll have to see. These are optimizations that I didn't want to do right now. I just wanted to get the level done, get it into a reasonable state, a bug-free state, which I feel like it is. And then when the game's sort of in beta stage, I'd say, when all the levels are done and everything's sort of done and it's, you know, an almost a finished game, then we'll do a pass through every level and optimize as much as possible and see if we can get more performance. So then we move past the second lava pit here, and then we reach the final run to the end of the level. And here we have 3 more rockmen, which have got slightly more hit points to make it a bit more difficult. And because I've got sort of God mode on, we can just run through these. And then we get a change in music and a dragon boss. Now this dragon boss in level 1 literally just moves up and down the screen, and that's it. But in level 2 he fires a shot from the air at you, and in level 3 he fires a ground shot and an air shot, which makes the pattern slightly more difficult. And it's kind of similar to the warlock. He will fire the air shot depending where you're standing. And of course the dragon's fireballs are, you know, faster than the warlock's fireballs, so they're a little bit harder to dodge. And after the fireballs, if you don't shoot him, he will rush you in a sort of barging attack, I'd call it. And then when he hits you, you're practically dead unless you've got the cloak, which gives you an extra hit. And that's it. So he takes 28 hits to dispatch. Quickly kill him there. And then we're on to the end of the level. And I suppose now is a good time to talk about what else is going on in the game. So as you can see at the top, we have a working score system. You can see that I've been killing enemies as we've been going, and the scores have gone up. On this demo, I have a high score, which is like a par score. So that's the sort of score you want to be aiming for when you complete the level. And also the score will save, so when you complete the level, if you've got a new high score, it will automatically update the high score and save it to disk. So you can do a little high score challenge on this demo if you feel like it. At the bottom in the status bar, when you pick up the bonus items that the bees drop, these will appear in your status. Here you can see when you kill the first bee, the rock appears in your status bar. And when you kill the second bee, the boots appear in your status bar also. So those 2 status bar items are working. We also have a working timer. Obviously it's set to a higher time so that I can record this video about rushing and try not to die. That works. The lives are working, so we've got 99 lives here at the moment, but the default is 2, so that will be set to 2 in the demo. And also the gold is working. I think that was working back in the first demo. I think that was the first UI item I'd got working. But yeah, the gold's obviously still working, but it doesn't do anything yet because you can't spend it in the shop. So, but you know, it's there. It's so that's practically the level. The last final thing for the level is we have an actual bonus count up. So when you complete a level, the amount of time you've got remaining will be dropped into a score value and then added to your score. And this is a simple ticker that counts down how many minutes and seconds you've got left, gives you 40 points per second, and then dumps it in your score. And this is how it works. So quite a lot of time to count down there, but that's it. So thanks guys, I think I've covered everything there. The demo is available now for you to download from my itch page. Links will be in the description. If you would like to come over to Patreon and support me there, that would be most appreciated as well. The links will be in the description for that. And apart from that, Happy New Year guys, and I'll see you on the next update. Bye for now.